Okay, so we are taking notes on 516, graphing linear inequalities, and this is just like graphing linear equations with a few extra steps. So, step 1 says rearrange the inequality into slope-intercept form. So we're good at this. So focus on what slope-intercept form looks like. And then notice where the y is in the equation. Think of this as an equation, but don't throw an equal sign in there because we need to use the inequality symbol. And then solve for y. So we're going to get this 2x over to the right side. Then we can rewrite. I'm choosing to put my negative 2x in front of my constant because that way it looks more like mx plus b. Now I look at this and I say, okay, my y is still not alone, so I need to divide out the negative 3. And if I divide out the negative 3, I need to think about reversing the inequality symbol, flipping the symbol. Because when I divide by a negative symbol, negative number, I have to flip my inequality symbol. So I divide everything by that negative 3. And then I get my new inequality of y is greater than 2/3 x minus 4. So we're going to use this to move on to our next step. Okay, next step. Step 2, graph the inequality. So you can see step 2 is broken up into 3 steps. We have 2a, 2b, and 2c. Okay, all right. So 2a, identify the slope and the y-intercept. So the slope is, look back at your new inequality. The slope is whatever m is in y equals mx plus b form. So the slope is 2/3. Okay? And the y-intercept is whatever b is. Whatever b is in the y equals mx plus b form, and that's -4. Okay. So we take that information and it says next, 2b says determine whether you should use a broken line or a solid line. So we decide this based on the symbol in the inequality. So if it's a broken line, if a broken line is to be used, that means if a broken line is to be used, that means it's because we have either a greater than symbol or a less than symbol in the original inequality. And that is what we're going to use here. If we were to use a solid line, that would be because we have a greater than or equal to symbol or a less than or equal to symbol in our original inequality. And we don't have that, so we won't be using a solid line when we graph it. All right. So for this one, we're going to be using the broken line. All right. So now we're ready to draw our line. So I'm going to go back to green because first I'm going to plot my y-intercept. Y-intercept's located on the y-axis, so I need -4. Okay, and then I'm going to use red to show my slope. So the slope is 2/3. That means I'm going to go up 2, right 3, And I'm going to plot my new point. Okay. And now the final step is to use that broken line. And unfortunately, I don't have a way of making a straight line with this program, but you should use a straight edge. Okay, so there's our broken line. Now, the broken line means that points on this line do not make this inequality true. Only the points found where would make these points true. That's what we're going to talk about on the next slide. Okay? Where are the points located that make this inequality true? All right. So let's jump to the next screen. Next screen, okay? So we have step 3 down below. It says shade the solution. This is the part that tells us where are the points located, where are the rest of the points located that make this inequality true, okay? So if we were dealing with an inequality, let's jump back. Y is greater than 2/3 x minus 4. Y is greater than 2/3 x minus 4. So that's our new inequality. We talked about how we needed to use a broken line, right? And we know that we have 2/3 as our slope, and we have -4 as our y-intercept. And I'll try to do this on this graph real quick. Okay, and our slope brought us up here. And our broken line looks something like this. Okay, and the final question is, where do I shade? So since we're dealing with this symbol, which in the form of y equals mx plus b, so this only works if you have it in y equals mx plus b form, we have a greater than symbol. So we come down here and we look for the greater than symbol, and we use this model to help us. So this model says that all the points that are greater than or above the broken line are points that are part of the solution. So what we're going to do is just take, I'll do it in gold, shade above the line. So greater than, as long as it's in the form of y equals mx plus b, I shade everywhere above the broken line. Okay? And the final step is to, of course, always take this inequality and place it somewhere where you can see the, oops. Oh, nuts. All right. You should always label your line with the inequality. Most of the time I would tell you to write the original inequality, but I don't have that in front of me right now. So we shade above the line in this example. I'm going to give you an opportunity to practice with a bunch of other examples, but for now, just make sure your notes are written down. Okay? Bye.